Hello, ladies. Today we are talking about your relationship again. So it's about the heart connection and why this is so important and the most important connection you can have with a man. Okay, so you've probably heard me saying it multiple times. Connect to your feelings, connect to your feelings, connect to your feelings to have a heart connection. Yeah, and there are multiple stages of this whole relationship work and attraction, and let's dive deep today with this. So this video is for single women but also for married women, because a relationship, really, you can have it with anybody. Yeah, you can even create polarity with your male friends, your brother. Feminine energy, feminine and masculine energy and polarity can be created in other scenarios too. Of course not the sexual attraction, but the feminine masculine polarity, which then creates such a divine union and such a good combination. Okay, so let's talk about the relationships that don't really work or kind of seem toxic, and I'm sure most of you have experienced that, and I did too. Okay, so the regular relationship style I grew up with was that two people kind of were always fighting with each other and trying to make a point and all of that, and there was just no harmony and little things would disturb them. Okay, so this is what usually happens, and this is what most men fear. That's why they don't want to have a commitment, because they don't want to be committed to to drama. They just don't want this. And I understand, and most of you ladies who have intimacy fears to get married. What you don't want is probably what you have seen with your parents or your old relationships, where two people suddenly started fighting because maybe the chemistry, which fades off after a while, like the body sexual chemistry, fades off after a while, and the only thing what's left are the triggers. So this is the scenario that you don't really want to be in. Another scenario is that you kind of function in your everyday life, and so you kind of do your own thing. You have your job, you might have your children, you might just do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, you either have a job or you don't. So you're either a housewife or you work, you take care of your kids, you make the necessary things for your husband, and then you kind of like live next to each other like best friends. And probably this is a better scenario. Yeah, however, this is also not the best way to have a relationship, because you will still feel like something is missing. And maybe you haven't experienced anything else. Maybe you have only seen your parents being really good parents and having taken care of you, but there was just such a disconnection and nobody feels seen and heard. It's like everybody feels so lonely, even in a full house of family. Like, if you have experienced that, then let me know in the comments. Okay, and I personally have went through all those stages too, even in my old relationship. So from always triggering each other, I was in a 6-year-long relationship, and from always triggering each other, blaming and having just like a fight, to just being okay and living next to each other like friends. So that's the next step. And then the next step would be to learn from dating and relationship coaches how to be feminine. You know, all those rules, this rules book. I'm sure when you're following me, you follow also all the relationship coaches and dating coaches, and they tell you, don't call, don't text, don't do this, yeah? So it's kind of the next step, because it does create some kind of polarity, right? Like, the guy is like the doing part, and you just like feminine leaned back, yeah? But there still might be some disconnection. Even there might be physical attraction, sexual attraction, but it's not the highest point yet, the highest a level of relationships. But that's the next step, and that can be nice too, because in this space you know which role everybody has. He is the leader, you are the one whose feelings are being cherished, and he is doing stuff you're enjoying, so it's kind of good. But if you have the issue to feel lonely, yeah, if you still feel lonely in such a relationship, or with people around you, or you feel disconnected to your family, then you really, really deeply desire to be in the next level of relationships. And that is the level where you so you no longer get triggered. That means you no longer have any responses, like fight and flight responses are triggers. So you no longer have that. You're kind of okay. You learned what's the feminine role, you learned what's the masculine role, you learned feminine is being and receiving, and all of this yummy stuff I'm talking always about. But now the next step is really, really, really going to give you the fulfillment and happiness. Because when you can learn to connect to yourself, to your feminine energy, to your heart, not always being in your head, like talking about what, like talking and thinking, but being in your heart and feeling into your body, what am I feeling right now? Yeah. So when you can do this, then you can see and hear yourself, and in this point you literally feel connected to yourself, and you feel connected to everybody and everybody else outside. So in this stage you can see and hear yourself. You are all within yourself, yeah? And then in this stage you also will attract men who have developed this consciousness relationship level to be able to be really connected to their body and their selves. And I might do another video to really explain it, because this is really high level language I'm using here. Usually I would only do that in my private coachings, where my ladies, by the way, learn to have the connection and to start being connected to themselves and to their partners. Anyways, when you can do that, then you create a relationship where you basically, your really authentic self can connect to the authentic person of the other gender. So this really feels like love and pure acceptance and romance and just a deep connection. It's different than the sexual pure body to body connection, yeah. It's also different in the mental connection, when you talk about stuff or you get triggered and feel attacked. This emotional connection can be literally only created when you are open and brave enough to feel your feelings and to live in your body. And when you can do this, when you can access this, meditation really helps. Then you can connect to yourself, and if the other person is ready, you can connect to the other person. and then you feel seen and you feel heard, and the other person also feels seen and heard. Yeah, so this is a level of relationship I personally never experienced in my childhood or in my early relationships before I got coached myself. Yeah, I like, my journey was also that I just hired a dating and relationship coach because I failed for 6 years and I was frustrated, and then I met another guy and I repeated the story and I was thinking, wow, it's not him, it's me. And then of course all those inner work, and beside of learning the tools of feminine, masculine, beside of learning about myself, I really connected to my body and to my essence, and I really connected to my feelings. And this connection to yourself is just being mirrored by your man, okay? And even when the chemistry goes down after, like the initial chemistry, you know, like when you meet somebody and the first body response from you is like, oh my god, I like him.
In 100 meters, turn right onto Scherenberg.
This initial response is, oh my god, I really like him and I feel so attracted to him. So this is the chemistry, and it naturally goes down after a while. Yeah, so it naturally disappears. But when you have the emotional connection to your body, and when you have the emotional connection to your partner, then you can still have a really deep and fulfilling relationship. And when you're connected to your body, so when you're not numb means that you feel so much pain that you don't want to feel any emotions and any feelings. Then you can also keep the sexual attraction high. It's being different than the initial chemistry. Okay, I think for this video it was enough information, but I hope you guys could at least feel inspired a little bit, because this is just a new way of relationships that I personally never experienced before I got coached, and this is what I'm teaching my private clients. This is really what gives them the fulfillment. Of course, the polarity is great, the tools, yeah, but when you really can have the deep connection, a marriage can be so thriving and fulfilling and full of love and acceptance. And if you would like me to access your own situation, then feel free to DM me for a free love assessment call. I think next week and this week everything is booked, but in 2 weeks I have something left. So yeah, reach out to me and let's talk. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, share with me some thoughts about it in the comments.